What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode one of the Team Notorious podcast. Today, my name is Cade. I'm joined by the six other owners of Team Notorious, and today we're basically just going to introduce ourselves and give you guys a little bit of insight of who we are and why we created Team Notorious. Like I said, I'm Cade, and I'll let everybody else introduce themselves.
I'm Barrett.
I'm Jeb.
Corey.
I'm Gary, aka Dirty Larry.
I'm Cam.
I'm Goldie. My real name though is McLean, so you might hear me by that. But Kate, you're also Rooster. You forgot. You forgot to say
Yeah,
Rooster.
I'm also Rooster on all socials, but yeah. So basically, we're just gonna talk about us and how we all got here, what our plans are for the future, and basically just the backstory of Team Notorious and our vision moving forward. So basically, I think my first question is gonna be started off towards Jared. What, how did this all start? We're now in 2022. It started in 2018. Like, what got us here?
Yeah. So Mac, me and you chilling, watching Game of Thrones, great show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we kind of like we've been into content like Mac, like me, you, and Cade, like for like years, and kind of we decided that we feel that like an organization would be better, and like basically being able to help people grow and stuff with the resources we've had and the things we've learned, and overall it's just kind of something we wanted to do. And like over the course of years, I mean, plenty of failures because I think we were like so focused on like we are Team Notorious, and we got to post these videos on our own channels and call it a Team Notorious production, this and that, rather than
hmm
actually take a step back and have a business aspect of it. So I'm pretty sure it started like really like me and you kind of talking about it, going through names in oceanography class, not paying attention, just focused on that and making some god awful logo. And
Yeah, we were. It was just kind of like a thrown out idea, to be honest. It was like
yeah,
it was at first. We wanted it to be like a serious thing, but we also were too busy. I feel like on the aspect of like us
yeah,
being the main focus of it, and I think that's kind of like how. I mean, now we're growing as an organization and we're learning
yeah,
from that. But yeah, like you said, it was like kind of just like a beginner's process, and I think that's the one thing that like me, you, Cade, like from the
yeah,
beginning kind of grew of was we need more help, we need more people, and that's I mean, as you see, we got four other great guys to help us out,
yeah,
and I think that's like one thing that we did, you know, pretty well though is like stuck with it. I mean, then again, like it's like if you were passionate about it, you should try
hmm
to stick with
yeah,
what you need, and I think that's what our more emphasis is on our brand
hmm
is like we want passionate people. We want people that are like super dedicated
yeah,
and want to get out there. So I think that's like what our envision has always been.
yeah,
At least me and you on that. I
yeah,
know Kate has always been like that too. But when back then it was like more like we wanted to just like focus on Cade's channel and
yep,
upload as much as we could on that.
yeah.
But
We like going back to like Rooster, like me and you have lived together now for like going on 6 years, and like we've been, you started off as the Fortnite guy. I mean, you were average at best at Fortnite, so we obviously played, like obviously we posted a lot. We posted 143 days in a row starting on February 1st, so we are going to be, coming up on our 6 years of YouTube. um I believe 6. Yeah, that's what it'll be. And whatever the age count is, but we posted a lot and stuff like that, and I've grown as an editor from there. But I also wasn't really into Call of Duty at the time, like professional. Like I just played like a casual play. So like obviously like in that course, we also like I picked up a lot of like COD knowledge in the industry, started watching other organizations. So I feel like that like kind of put, obviously you've had this dream, you've had this goal since you were like 12, but you forcing me to watch these videos and watch the optic funny moments where Scump talks about the horse tranquilizer, like that really like it like lit like a fire to want to do this. And obviously we started it, a year later in 2018, but in reality we were still just focused on your channel. So like when did you kind of notice that you would be better kind of running the show and the organization, rather than making videos solely, on your own, whether gaming and stuff. When did you realize you weren't that good at video games? I guess I should say.
Well,
I don't think I've ever realized that. I still think I'm pretty damn good at video games. But no, I think that it was I think like you guys have touched on, it's been a learning experience. I think that at least for me, you, and McLean. McLean was a roommate of mine and Jared's. We've went through several roommates, but McLean was one of them early on, before he joined the military. So like for us three, as I said, like you guys touched on it a lot, it's basically been like a learning curve. The start of my YouTube channel specifically wasn't necessarily it. What I never had the mindset that it was like my YouTube channel. I mean, I
Yeah.
was the only one in front of the camera to begin with, but Jared edited all the videos, did all the social media for it, so it's not like it was just me. It wasn't. I never felt like it was just my YouTube channel. And then we transitioned and rebranded and did different types of videos. We stepped away from video games to do exploring of haunted and abandoned places, which allowed us to incorporate more people. Again, still had my name on the YouTube channel, but it allowed to have. We were forming a group, um, and I think that was the moment that I realized that it was like doing this is more fun with other people. When it's like when it was just me or it was just all based around like me playing video games, it wasn't. I don't know how to really explain it. When you have a group of people around you that you enjoy being around and that it makes things a lot easier and it keeps you all in check basically. And I think that was the first time when we made the transition to a different style of content, and I was able to incorporate a group of people around us to make these videos. I think it was a lot easier. And then to fast forward things now, I think we all wanted to, at least us three, I think we all wanted to be in the content space and like be involved in these industries in some
Mhm.
sort of way.
Yeah.
And I think that the YouTube channel back in 2017, when we posted 143 days in a row, was our like that was the only way that we thought it would be possible to enter in the space was
Yeah.
based on a solo YouTube channel, even though there was multiple people. We just thought it would be easier that way, which basically leads us to like 2022, which we realize that there's a different approach that we can take that we can affect more people, and hopefully as these things keep growing, we uh, can provide opportunities for other people, not just ourselves, which is what we originally thought. And I think that's when that transition from the solo to group aspect, I think, is when I realized, at least for me, is when I realized where it was like, this is a lot better, a lot more enjoyable, and a lot more achievable.
Yeah, and like obviously, like Corbin, you kind of popped in, like you were around from the beginning, but like you weren't really like super involved in stuff until like
Yeah.
2020. We tried to get you in a little bit, like with some podcasts and stuff like that, but in
Mhm.
reality, like you kind of came along in the mix, obviously,
Yeah.
and saw the vision and the passion, and you've been here in a lot of learning as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So like it was a little more difficult since I was still in high school. You guys were up at school, like college. So I was never able to like when you guys initially started all this, I was not involved because I was never around you guys. But then me moving to the same college, I was able to get more involved with everyone. And yeah, that's when I just loved what was happening. I mean, Pokemon packs, spent a little too much money down that
That's
road.
that's when we got into Rick. And Rick got
Doubled into everything.
grandfathered into Team Notorious because of a roommate situation as well. Like in reality, it's just like besides Larry and Chap, like if you didn't live with us, you just didn't make the cut, I guess.
Or
Rick,
related to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
Come on.
Rick really kind of he came in because of his addiction to Pokemon packs
Yep.
as well.
Yeah.
So Rick, what like you came from, like you played sports games and stuff in reality, but like you really came into it a lot when you've definitely turned into like a big video game nerd like in a short period of time just from living with us.
Yeah, definitely wasn't like a huge gamer before moving in with you guys, but I was fortunate enough to be able to, well, you guys had like a roommate
Yeah.
opening, so I was fortunate enough to be able to come live with you guys, and then pretty much just like fell right into place into Team Notorious.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
plenty of roommate situations. I guess me and Kate have this thing of
I
like
think every year we'd
dropping
lost one.
dropping out of school and joining the military was not something that would just happen once with us.
Hey,
we
let's be realistic though. That Pokemon video that we have, technically changed the game
It
with
Charizard.
how
did.
we are.
Yeah.
That Charizard.
The Charizard video, god dang. But yeah, like Mac, like even like you, like Team Notorious also grew a lot. Like from you leaving, like you feel like you've definitely had a fire lit, like for a drive and a passion, like from joining the military and stuff, and like leaving the college
Yeah.
environment. So like it's definitely like a blessing. Obviously, like you're pursuing your dreams in that standpoint as well. Um, and Larry's extremely blurred, so that's awesome. Um, but yeah, so like obviously we got multiple military guys as well, which obviously we're right now our learning process is kind of uh
Working around that, I
working
guess.
around time zone schedules and timing schedule with military, especially Larry being honor guard. He obviously it changes every day. Um, but just turn your
This
camera off
camera
and
hates
on.
him, dude.
Trying to
This
fix it.
camera hates him.
But then so like Chap kind of came into
There you
play
go.
There we go.
because like Chap you came in because of Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies. You kind of became friends with me and stuff and kind of like got grandfathered into that, and then over a Minecraft server got even more in depth with us as friends, and then with the launch of Notorious RP, um,
Got really
we
close with you during that.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's kind of how you came about.
I can't.
Yeah, no, it is funny though how like Chap did come in because like he didn't really know anybody else besides like what me and Corey, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
much.
me and you, I mean, I felt like I didn't like if I wasn't if I was streaming before like I joined the Air Force, I felt like it was like I had to be streaming with you. Like I had like
Pretty
the
much.
like if you go back to like my older streams, it's like me and Chap are like on the webcam together. Like we were kind of like a package deal with for a while. And I mean, we've been boys for a minute, so like when you got like grandfathered in pretty much like through the Minecraft server and stuff like that, I was so hype. I was so hype. I was like, thank God,
yeah,
like we got Chap because I already knew you were like a hard worker and you like pretty much love gaming and stuff like that. But one thing that I didn't really know until you went to school for it was like you're incredibly gifted at graphic designing and stuff like that.
Stop
So
it.
so like, can you tell us a little bit about that and how you got passionate about that?
So funny enough, I didn't know what I wanted to do for college or for my career until my senior year of high school. Um, I was taking a graphics class, and in the middle of it, I realized like this is something that I love and I wouldn't mind doing for the rest of my life. So then I started really looking into graphic design. I started watching a bunch of like YouTube tutorials, took a couple master classes, and so I went to college for it. And it's just I have a lot of fun doing it. It's not like the one thing I like about it though is it's not like you're a regular like 9 to 5 job because it changes every day.
yeah,
I'm not constantly doing the same thing 24/7. I'm constantly doing something new.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and we really like Chap. Like we grew like the city over the summer. Like growing like NRP has built us like a solid foundation of a community, like with great people. Whether it's our staff team, who like most are considered to us like brothers and sisters to our staff team. Like shout out to them. Shout out to Tommy Tic Tac, Stevo, Trev, Danny, Bella, Frankie, and of course Mr. Birdie, K9, and Jerome. Um, Notorious RP has given us a solid community of nearly 600 members and kind of got us to really have that passion for like growing a community and growing a brand rather than like ourselves trying to grow individual channels. Kind of like we have now 2 signed streamers from NRP, and overall it's just like the NRP has definitely given our success to be able to really get boosted and get started a lot on growing and expanding. And that's kind of where like Larry came into play. Like Larry, you came in like me and you've been in some business endeavors in the past, but you kind of saw before you were deployed. Obviously, at the time we started it, you told us basically we had you had a developer friend even who had helped grow the city and stuff, but like then you randomly just kind of like came along and joined in, and you've been working your ass off to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much knew everyone here. Cade, Corey lived on same street as them. Chap was probably the only person I didn't really know too well. Cam, I mean, one of my good friends, Mac, was in the grade above me, and Jared was one of my best friends growing up. And
Was, yeah.
as Jared, yeah, was exactly. Um, but as he said before, I mean, we tried a little business endeavor, but I mean, it's hard to get millions of dollars from investors when you're only 18 years old. So but yeah, so I was deployed more TDY, and I came back and I seen what you guys were doing. I asked to help out, and eventually, you guys said, "Hey, you want to join?" And I said, "Yeah." I mean, I was gonna pass up the opportunity of a lifetime, you know what I mean? And I'm glad
Mhm.
I did, because now I get to work with all these great fellas, and it's history from there. Just busting our asses, getting to where
Yeah,
we need to go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
so it basically leads to like somewhat of the end of so that's basically us. That's how
Yeah.
we became to be. That's how we got into Team Notorious. Our background a little bit. Um, but that sets us up for like what's to come for Team Notorious. Like what are we so we talked about the NRP server a little bit. That was our first endeavor. Um, our next podcast, so make sure you stay tuned for the next podcast. We'll be discussing, I believe it's the next podcast. We'll be
Yep.
discussing NRP a little bit more and like what that all entails and a little bit more into that. So we're not going to discuss too heavily on that, but we are involved in NRP. We just branched out into Call of Duty. So there will be another podcast discussing that. Basically, we'll be discussing on each one of these podcasts in the future. We will be discussing certain aspects of what we're currently involved in, what we plan to be involved in. But overall, from Team Notorious, like what's the future? Like what's our end goal? Like where do we plan to be here soon? And what are our next steps?
Yeah, I mean, we know we want to be in Texas, kind of like the gaming capital of, content and organizations and stuff. So we definitely want to be there, hopefully by 2025. And I mean, overall, the end goal is we want to be in every esports, industry, gaming, competitive wise, as we can. Especially with franchising, it even becomes a little bit more difficult. And but overall, we know we want to be there, right? We want to have a team of content creators and streamers. We want to have competitive teams all around because in reality, everyone grows, the brand grows, all from having a diverse section of games and competitive teams all over the industry.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, to be honest. Because I mean, as long as us seven stick together and we do our thing, like which I can see that happening for sure
Yeah.
at this point, it's a guaranteed done deal. I feel like our end goal is it's not even really like an end goal. I feel like we can just keep going and keep, rising up to stop touching me. Rising up as much as we can. I mean, there's no limit to what we can do, and that's where I feel like you know, having us branching out into all these different things, like having our roleplay server, having our Call of Duty team, having other maybe esports teams we get involved with, even content creators specifically from different platforms. I feel like there is no end goal really besides like what we can just keep going to do. Like, of course, we have little mini goals here on the path, but I guess like as an end goal, if anything, is us being stuck together all the way throughout this
Yeah.
journey. I mean, life is short, time is money. We always say that. And we want to, I mean, in all honesty, I think everybody out there, if you're watching this, should think of life like that. Like, do as much as you can in this life. Like, you only got one shot. And I mean,
Yeah.
if you really want to be dedicated and do it like we're doing and, want to get to that end goal, I guess, would be like us being 80 years old, best of friends, and freaking, you know, being like no regrets. We did something that not a lot of people could do.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be other people's end goals. Maybe join up with us, and I think that should be like kind of. I mean, I'm not the best motivational speaker at all,
Yeah.
but I think that's my motivational speech for today.
Yeah.
Is
And this Goldie being
Yeah, I
80
think it's
drinking his liquid cinnamon toast crunch.
yeah. I think it's important for us to like sit back and actually realize that like we're just getting started. I
yeah,
know that it says that we were established in 2018, which is basically when the idea formulated. But in reality, like we're basically only under a year of like full
hmm
blown like full blown like dedication to this. April is when the NRP server started, and we weren't even considered a full-time business yet. It wasn't until like August that we decided to put the pen to the paper and we made it an official business. So within still under a year, I would like to think that April was basically our first time we
Yeah.
like all decided to like this is our time to give it our all. And that's when it really started. So if we're gonna take April as a starting point, we've made it to where we are now in under a year, and this is just the beginning. The rate that we're going right now, anybody who decides to stick with us and support us, like we will do our best to not let you down because for us to be able to complete what we've already completed in under a year, like that's a good precedent to set to like we got some bright things coming in the future. Um, and so, like I said, this is just the beginning, and we really hope to see some people come and support us and stick with us and watch and incorporate themselves in the community and watch us grow
Yeah.
together because that's
Absolutely.
basically that's what we want to affect and motivate and incorporate as many people as possible and everybody reap the rewards of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is no one gonna
Very.
talk about how the dog just plopped down on the chair? Like, is no one gonna talk about
Yeah,
that?
that distracted the hell out of me.
Sorry.
No, I just saw him get up and just plop down right behind you. Is he our special guest this
She's just-
He
episode?
got his
She's just
he got his own
special
chair,
guest,
dude.
man.
He's
Yeah,
just
Chilling.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, is no one
What
gonna
up,
talk
You want to
about
read
that?
off
Like
the
way how we
sponsors?
Yeah,
Our
that's what I was.
sponsor?
Before we get this all closed out, we'd like to shout out. I guess you can kind of say two of our sponsors. We are looking to expand our sponsorship team, be able to work with other brands in the scene, and obviously help them grow as well as us. Shout out to Dude Live. It's app.dude.gg. That is your social media platform for gamers where you can connect, discover, and play. It's an awesome, awesome, awesome feature to have as video gamers to be able to find tournaments, be able to find people to play with, be able to basically expand your streaming career and promote yourself. Yet again, the first 10,000 people will be able to get a beta badge as they are, I believe, at like 7,000 right now. But it's a great platform. I mean, the fact that you can kind of have like a social media that is literally built and designed for gamers is just incredible. What they're doing is absolutely huge. And as well, I'd like to shout out NRP at discord.gg/the Notorious RP. By far the best 5M server. Granted, extremely biased, but great community, great people, great staff. It's incredible. We do it differently, and it's just an overall great place. So shout out to our two sponsors. That's app.dude.gg, where you can discover, connect, and play with others, and Notorious RP at discord.gg/the Notorious RP.
Is
Also,
anyone
check out our
noticing-
streamers, Subtle Jack and No FPS. Check them out for a couple extra laughs and good time.
Absolutely. Anybody else got any final comments before we wrap it
I
up?
can't stop laughing. The dog's face is coming into frame. It's literally getting unblurred and then
blurred
blurred and then literally
It's like
it gets
looking at us.
unblurred.
Cause what the dog doing?
What the dog?
Yeah.
She's like
But-
looking at the corner of her eye, like what the. She like sleeping.
But yeah, so I think that's gonna wrap it up here for episode 1. Thank you guys all for watching. Make sure you subscribe, turn the notification bell on. You'll get notified every time we post a new video. There's a lot more content coming to the channel. This was just our intro. There will be a lot of stuff posted here in the coming weeks, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Like I said, hit that notification bell, get notified on whenever we post a new video. Make sure you go check out all of our other socials. Twitter is basically our main platform. That's where a lot of our updates and everything's are going to be. So please go check that out. Drop a follow down there. And then all the other socials will be linked in the description below: TikTok, Instagram, etc. The Discord. So get connected with us and join the community, and we'll see you guys all in the next video.
Peace.
Peace.